This is Adam Goodman, and today we're going to talk about some open source and free software. First, the products that I'd like to cover: LibreOffice, Audacity, Google Chrome, and Picasa. These first two, LibreOffice and Audacity, are true open source programs. The final two, Google Chrome and Picasa, are both freely available commercial products made by Google Industries. LibreOffice can be used to replace things such as Microsoft Office and iWorks, both commercial products that many companies and schools and universities use. The platform that works with LibreOffice is when LibreOffice works on Microsoft Windows, Mac, and Linux. LibreOffice works very similar to Microsoft Office. When you open it up, you get a choice of what type of document you would like to create. Now, back in the day, I used to use Open Office, what LibreOffice is built upon, and it was not as user-friendly as LibreOffice is today. As I was working through it, I found that the experience was simple, intuitive, easy to understand for the information that I was trying to get out of it. I found didn't have any problems navigating, and also found that they have a wonderful help section that has at least as much information about it as Microsoft Office does for its service. I think it compares very well to the Office suite. I've never used iWorks, so I don't know how it compares to that. Is it viable in the classroom? Probably, but I really do think that since one of our goals is to get our students ready into the workforce, and the workforce is still pretty much Microsoft Office based, i.e. maybe at the younger grades, get them started with LibreOffice and then move them into Word and Excel so that they know how to do everything there. Okay, that's LibreOffice. Next, we have Audacity. Audacity is a music and audio recording tool and editing tool that can very easily, I think, replace things like Adobe Audition, Avid Pro Tools, and Sony Soundboard. Now, none of these three programs have I ever personally used. I've only personally used Audacity, so I don't know exactly how well it's going to replace it. From the reports that I was reading online, it's pretty good, unless you are hardcore working in a music studio or editing for film and television. Audacity runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux, just like LibreOffice. Excuse me. And it's not unuser-friendly, but it's kind of hard to learn. It has a steep learning curve. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you don't understand waveforms and snipping and time coding, it can cause you problems, but that's not an issue with Audacity. That's an issue with this type of software in general. The experience for me has been fine. I've used this personally with the local community theater to build sound cues, and I really do think that at the level that high school students and middle school students are working at, and even elementary schools for podcasting, that this is definitely a viable alternative. I've encouraged some of my students to use it while creating their own podcasts, and I've heard positive results from a lot of them. Okay. These next two, Google, Chrome, and Picasa, are not open source, so they don't technically meet the definition of that because they are commercial products. But I do use both of these on a daily basis, and I know that I pay for it some way. They're collecting data from me, but so far the Surface has been worth it. Google Chrome is a browser, and it'll replace any internet browser. The three most common on the screen now: Internet Explorer, Apple Safari, Mozilla Firefox. The reason that I prefer Google Chrome is that it very easily syncs everything across all of the computers that I use, no matter what platform I use. I am an Apple iPhone user, and I have an iPad. I have a personal iPad and a school district provided iPad. I've used Android in the past with it, Linux, Windows, and of course on the Mac. And Google Chrome, when I want to save something in one browser, it's easily accessed by any of my devices. When I go on the road, when I have 10 minutes and I want to read something that I have on my laptop at home, I can just pull out my iPad or my iPhone. I can click other devices, and it shows all the tabs I have open on all of my computers, whether they're turned on or off. It doesn't matter. It syncs all my bookmarks. It keeps all my email together. It has really made it's really changed the way that I access information using the internet. And this final software, Picasa. Picasa is a photo editing and organization tool. It can replace Photoshop Organizer, which I haven't used until this semester, and I don't like it. It's cumbersome. Picasa is easy. It replaces iPhoto. I can't stand iPhoto. I don't know if it's me, but I cannot figure out how that program is supposed to work half the time. And also, if you are still organizing your photos by file folders and accessing them through that way, Windows Files, Apple Finder, that's bad for you. You are spending way too much time doing that. Picasa is really nice. It installs on your computer really well on Windows or Mac. They used to support Linux. They no longer support it. You can find the old Picasa install files for Linux, but from my readings, it's not worth it. Don't do it. Find some other solution if you're a Linux user. When you install Picasa on your computer, it asks you automatically if it wants you to find all of the pictures. And say yes, and it'll find everything that you have on your computer. Now, I've got a lot of stuff on here, and it helps you organize it by finding people. If you want to search by people, it finds faces, and it asks you to name them. So here's my list of unnamed people. Right now, it's down low. Oh, there's somebody I know. That is not Noel, that's Lindsay Tedesco. So I'm going to click on it, say that's Lindsay Tedesco. Now it knows. And every once in a while it pops up and it shows me this stuff. Over here it tells me there's 329 pictures of me. If I want to find pictures of, let's say, me and my brother, I can click here, and then there's all the pictures that I have tagged both my brother and myself. It edits as well. It's not as full-fledged as Photoshop or Photoshop Elements, but if you pick a picture, bring it up, it gives you some tools. You can crop, straighten, reduce red eye, remove red eye, turn it to black and white, sepia, tint, and recently they have been adding more stuff. You can edit in Creative Kit, which uploads your picture online, and I forget the name of the software that they just purchased, our online web software, but it's now all online based. Finally, to wrap up this presentation, I'm going to go back to my mind map and zoom over to my 2 questions. Okay. or two things I have found, excuse me. Through my reading, I found that some districts are having success having their high school students help maintain open source software since the code is freely available, and help may not be readily available for your solutions. Use your computer programming classes, your computer science classes in the high school can possibly help you develop software. And I was reading an interesting article about software development that has come out of high school programs. And then one last question that I still have is, even though you can use high school students somewhat to help you out, there still is the issue of having your informational technology guys working with this software when there is no corporation backing it up. So, is it viable everywhere? No. Is it viable all the time? No. Should we be looking more into it? Probably. Thanks. Bye.